Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to learn how to model this fan. You see this red lights dimming and then the green light comes on and then this other green one and it's gonna blink like a three times or more and the fan is gonna start working and then we're gonna start animating our camera to go around, to kind of get this 360 degrees view. This tutorial is going to be absolutely beginner friendly. I feel like this video without the HDRI can actually serve the purpose, which is tutorial to just teach you guys basically how to make this. But you guys can go ahead and add a HDRI to add some spice to your scene. But if you can model this at the end of the day, then you probably just need to add the HDRI to spice it up to get what you want, like the environment you want. So that's enough being said. Let's jump in and model some standing fan. Uh, with a new scene open up in Blender, you want to select everything, press X and delete. You want to go to your mesh option, go ahead and add in a UV sphere. We're going to use this to make the sharp um, the cage for the fan. So with this selected now, what you want to do is you want to scale this in on the z-axis like this. Something like this should be fine. Make sure you're scaling on the z-axis because that's the only way this can work. You want to go RX90 like that and scale it out like that. Then what you want to do with everything active, we could just find an easy way out of this by using a modifier for this, right? Some people prefer to, delete all the faces and then give skin modifier to the active verts, but I prefer to work with modifier. So let's just go and give this a wireframe modifier. Tab back out, and this is what you'd have in object mode, right? Now with this wireframe modifier, we have our basic fan cage. What I might do is delete the back actually. So let's just start back in and let's in face select option, let's select all of these faces and then delete. So when you go back into object mode, you should be able to see this, right? Without the back face. You can delete the other faces if you want to add some details, but this is what I'm going to go with. So this is just a basic fan cage. And what we want to do now is go to your mesh option and add in a cube. We're going to use this cube to model the back of the fan. Yeah, if we go control 3 to add 3 levels or control 4 to add 4 levels of subdivision, we would have this. You can go ahead and delete this face to make it look like this. You're going to add in some edge loops to support it. So either move it back or forward any way you want to support it, but this is just what we want to get. And we want to select everything and go GY and move it back. So it's sitting there like that, which is very, very lovely. And I like the topology. When we apply the modifier, you'd see the topology. So let's go Shift A, go to Mesh, and let's add in a torus, no, cylinder, sorry. With this cylinder in edit mode, you want to go RX90 and we want to scale it. We want to use this cylinder to make the covering part, the part that covers, the part that covers the back of the fan. We want it to sit in that, cavity like that. So we might just scale it down a little bit and scale it in like that, GY, and try to place it accurately there, like that. We want it to look, let's just insert this face. We're going to insert this face until we have about the size we need to extrude out the rod that are carrying the blades. So we can insert this one more time and then extrude it like this. Something like that should be fine. Wanna Yeah, tap back out, and that's what we have. It's looking very, very satisfying. Very satisfying. Um, what we want to do after this is we want to go shift A mesh and let's add a plane. We're gonna use this plane to make the fan. All right, we're gonna use this plane to make the blades that are going to be rotating inside of the fan. In top of the graphic view, in edit mode, we want to go G and move it like that. And we want to scale this in like that. And we want to add some loop cuts, I think. Control R, add that loop cuts, select that vert, and then move G, Y, something like that. Just trying to make a very basic fan, fan blade. So we're adding two edge loops like that. Add edge loop at this side and one at the other side, something like that. I want to add another edge loop at this side. I want to select the edge loop and move it. Just trying to, we don't have a reference image for any of this. We're just trying to use our creative skill to, model a very basic fan, and that's what we're doing, right? So what we want to do now is we want to add more geometry to this. So we're gonna use our knife tool to cut here to about here to about here and to here, just like that. So we have the reason why we're adding more geometry is we're going to use a subdivision surface modifier on this, and we don't want it to look messy when we do that. So we want to, you could toggle on your proportional editing tool and just customize this blade to be the way you want it to be, but this is what I feel like I'm gonna go with. Yeah, this looks very fine. Actually, you could um, use your proportional tool, GY on that. But if I use proportional tool, I don't have enough geometry. It's just gonna mess up what I have. I can just go ahead and try it right now, or maybe not. Maybe not. Let's just select this and okay, let's toggle on the proportional editing tool and let's just try and see what we have. So it's making the blade look weird. See, it's gonna give you a very weird topology. So I think I might just extrude this, and if it doesn't give me the result I want, I'll just undo everything. So if I give a subdivision surface modifier to this now, it might still leave me with a very weird topology, which is not what I want for my blade. So even shade autos mode would not give me the topology that I need. So I'll just undo all of that. I'll just undo all of that. Just leave it basic, just extrude it like that. No too much fancy stuff, just leave it like that. We could, yeah, we could just, leave it like that. And then let's just give it subdivision surface modifier. Right click or increase the levels and right click and go shade smooth. And this is looking more like a very organic blade. So in edit mode, you want to go RX90. Oh, sorry. Oops. then select everything. A to select everything, RX90, and go to your front view, and this is what you have. Now we are going to place it roughly where it should be. We're going to look at it from every angle and try to align it properly. Okay, G, Y, move it backwards like that. And we're gonna, there are two ways to do this. We're either gonna array this around, or we're gonna have to duplicate this. So what I think we should do is, um, first of all, we need to get an empty cube, and this empty is what we're gonna be using for this. So let's give this an array modifier. Actually, let's apply the subdiv first, and then let's give it an array modifier and make x0. And let's go to object offset, and let's use the empty as the instance and object. And now that we have that, we can actually go um, R90. Okay, you don't have to duplicate. I mistakenly duplicate that. So let's pick the empty as the instance and object, and just let's just go. Um, let's. There's no point increasing that. Let's just go um, in front orthographic view. Let's just go ahead and press. I think if we just rotate this, it should work. Okay. So let's just go ahead and press with this selected, the blade selected R90, and we should have this. So if you go Shift R or increase the count, you should have 4 blades, right? Which is what we want. You can go ahead and customize this, just edit it. Whatever, correction you make on one blade, it will be affected on the other blades. So you could do that, but I think I'll just leave it this way. Just leave it like this. I'll just leave it like this. This is looking very, very low poly, but I'm gonna extrude out the other rod carrying the fan anyways, and I'm gonna make from the rod the outer part that kind of covers the fan, so it's not gonna be visible. So we could just leave it like this actually. So let's just use this guy to cover our floor. That's one thing about modeling. Sometimes you don't get it accurately right. You just look for something else to cover your flaws, which is what we're about to do here. We're going to extrude E to extrude on the y-axis. We're going to go to our face select option, and we're going to click outside to Shift Alt to select this face. I'm going to go E to extrude, right click to let go, Alt S, and then scale along the normals like that, just so we can cover our flaws so you don't see our mistake. So this is what we have, right? We have the standing fan coming together quite nicely, and we can go ahead and just apply the array modifier, and then delete this instance in empty, and then Alt H to bring back this, and then we want to scale the fan. No, actually we should scale the cage, not the fan. So select the cage and then tap into edit mode. Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Select the cage, tap into edit mode. Hit select everything and then scale out the cage like this. So this is what we want. So we have our fan coming together, but the cage is not the cage is not in the right place. It's not supposed to be in the body of the back cover. So what we're gonna do is we're going to fix that problem. And to fix this, we're gonna have to G Y move it like that. We just want the cage to be between the back cover and the front cover. So let's select the front cover, go to edit mode, tap in, and we want to move the front cover in such a way that you know it will get to almost touch um the 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 fan cage, and that's what we just did. So let's just add some loop cuts because we're going to be using subdivision surface modifier on this. So let's just add loop cuts where we need to so it doesn't mess up our topology. Add up some loop cuts here too, and that's what we need to do. So if you go ahead and give this a subdivision surface modifier now, it looks more smooth and beautiful. So this is what we have, right? The fan front, the fan cage, the blade, the front and back cover, all modeled. So we need to proceed from here. So what we might do actually is to G Y and move it back like that. We just want it sitting very nicely. At this point, it's preference. You could choose to leave it that way, but I'm just trying to make it as flawless as possible. Okay. Now that we have that, we want to. This is. I'm not satisfied with this, so I want to scale it a little bit so fits. It fits that cavity. So select everything and go. We want to go. Let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Want to go E to extrude, right click to let go, Alt S, and then scale out along the normals like that. Something like this should be fine. I think this looks more organic than what we had earlier on. So we could work with this. Don't mind the fan, they look really big and funny, but you could customize your fan the way you want. The purpose of this video is for tutorial. So I by no chance am I trying to get the blades um accurately like the way it is on the fan you have in your sitting room, I guess. So let's add in a little bit of detail with that cylinder. We're gonna be using boolean operation after this. So just so you know. So this cylinder is gonna be used for that little pin stuff at the back of every ceiling fan that activates the rotation and you know. So let's set origin to geometry. So the origin of that is there, and let's set origin of this to geometry as well. Now select this and let's give it a boolean. Click on the eyedropper and select the cylinder. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this, select cylinder and hide it, and we have this. So shade auto smooth this to have a cleaner looking work. Now Alt H to bring this back and then scale it like that. I'm gonna add in some loop cuts, and as a matter of fact, that's too much loop cut. Oh, okay, let's just increase this G, Z, and just stick it up. So we're gonna use the faces at the top, not the top, these faces, this ones, to make the detail. So Shift Alt E to extrude, and then Alt S to scale along the normals. F3, check out deselect, and then we're gonna Alt E to extrude individual faces like that, and then we need to scale individual faces. So pivot, transform, individual, origin, and then scale. Okay. If I'm moving too slow, you guys can just, say something in the comment section, and the part two will be much, much slower. So give this a subdivision surface modifier, shade auto smooth, and it still looks really weird. So let's, we want to give this a bevel modifier. We want to put the bevel before the shade, the subdivision, and then just increase the amount, and then increase the segment count to 2. No, increase the segment count to 2. Yeah, something like that should give us a cleaner looking, detail. And that is just what we have for the part one of this tutorial. I hope you have been following. If you have made it this far, congrats.